Hi everyone, today we're going to be using an ultrasonic rangefinder. It looks like this. It has two little eyes on it. These are actually a speaker and a microphone. And the weird thing is that a speaker and a microphone are really the same thing. One creates vibrations in the air and the other measures the vibrations in the air. So they're kind of like opposites of each other, but they use very similar equipment to do that with. All right. So ultrasonic rangefinder is what we're going to be creating today. And what we're going to use it to do is we're going to use our distance from the rangefinder so we can measure how far away it is. We'll talk about how it does that. But we'll use our distance to control the tone of a speaker. We're going to build something called a theremin. This is a musical device that when you move your hand, the pitch of the music playing changes. So it's like, wah, wah, wah. So we'll be able to create that, and it will be fun and super annoying. If you think it's bad, I have to do this for a big chunk of my day as well. All right, so ultrasonic rangefinder, how does it work? So so as I go along, go ahead and add what I'm writing to your page as well in your assignments. You'll find this page blank, just like this. So this is works just like a bat's echolocation works. CHO. Oh, that's all one big word. Okay. So you may know this from previous experience about bats. They're pretty popular animals to think about. A bat will send out a super high-pitched sound that humans can't hear. We don't have ears that can hear it. And then the sound will bounce off things like insects and come back to the bat. And the amount of time it takes for that sound to go there and back, the bat can use that to determine how far away the object is and what direction it's in. So it can actually go snag a tiny little insect by bouncing sound waves off of it, which is really kind of crazy and cool. If you know the superhero called Daredevil, this is the same kind of thing that's supposed to be using. Okay, so the rangefinder emits or sends out a really high frequency sound, and this is the ultrasonic. So you might hear these things called an ultrasonic rangefinder. The ultra means like massive or big, and sonic means sound, so it's really high frequency, really large frequency sound. Ultrasonic sound in short bursts called chirps. And these short bursts, they, let's say, lasting about 10 microseconds. You may not know what a microsecond is. It is 1/1,000,000th of a second. So if you were to take a second, break it into 1,000,000 tiny little pieces, 10 of those is one chirp for the rangefinder, which is kind of insane that the Arduino can accurately measure 10 millionths of a second. Pretty cool. All right. And then the Arduino then measures, let's capitalize that, how long it takes before the echo bounces back. So when we use this in the programming, we're going to actually get a number that represents the number of microseconds it took between the start of the chirp, and when it first heard the chirp come back into the other ear here. So one of them is a speaker, one of them is a receiver or a microphone. So the one marked T is the one sending out the sound. The one marked R is receiving, so transmitter receiver. Okay, so the Arduino then measures, could bounce back, okay. The longer it takes, the farther it is away. So the farther away the object is. And you'll get to see a really good example of, we're going to figure out how to use that echo time to be able to determine distances, and then also to be able to use that for all kinds of distances. All right, so that's it for the main idea on the ultrasonic rangefinder. There are some limitations to the rangefinder. So the first one is soft materials are hard to measure. That's kind of weird. To measure because they absorb sound instead of reflecting it. So the sound hits something soft, that sound actually, the energy in that sound actually gets absorbed into that object, and it doesn't come back out very loudly, so the Arduino can't hear the reflection. So anything that you can shove your face into and scream into and it dulls your scream, like a pillow or something, those are all things that aren't going to reflect well. We'll see that when we put our hand in front of it, that our hand is somewhat soft and it's pretty easy to lose the range of the hand. All right. Next one, objects that are too far away. So as sound travels, its energy spreads out. Its energy, let's put in here, and loudness. Because when we talk about the energy of a sound wave, we mean like how loud it is. We hear energy by loudness. The spreads out, making faraway objects far away. Let's call it echoes. Impossible to hear. So you'll see this as well. Like if it's a small object or it's really far away, both of those reflect less energy back, and if they're too far away, they won't make a very good sound. The smaller the object, the closer it has to be to see. A larger object can be farther away, but there's always going to be this limit of how much sound bounces back. Okay. And then the next one is, objects at a weird angle reflect the, let me do this, Control Shift. Nope, Control D. I'm going to shrink this picture a little bit. I'll have yours fixed when you do this. At a weird angle, reflect the sound away from the rangefinder and can't be seen. So we'll take a look at all of these examples as we start playing with the actual rangefinder to see how it affects the rangefinder and what it can do. All right, I think that is all. And now let's see. Okay, now the wiring. So when you're wiring this, I'm not going to show you the wiring because I want you to actually think about it and kind of do it. You're getting to that point now where you should be pretty good at wiring. The one thing I will tell you is that we want to have it wired so that there's nothing in the way of the rangefinder, which means wiring it like this to the side like this would be perfect because there's nothing in the way of it. The problem with that, though, is if I look in the back side, you can see that I put this and they're all in the same row. That means all the pins are connected to each other. That cannot happen. We need each pin to have a different connection. If we do it this way, we're going to burn out the rangefinder the moment we plug in any wire. In fact, if we did plug in wires in the next row, none of them would actually connect to the thing and it wouldn't be a problem. We would still burn out the Arduino because we'd be connecting 5 volt and ground together. So we're not going to do that. We're going to pull it and we're going to put it way over here on the side. Doing that means we're pretty clear away from this. We'll see there'll be some interference, but that's as far over as we can get. So we don't want to have it over here where it's directly in front of one of these two posts. We want it over here at the very far side and lean back maybe a tiny bit so it's kind of reflecting up into the air a little bit. All of that doesn't matter. You can adjust it pretty easily. Try to avoid bending the actual pins. We want them vertical as possible. So don't bend it so far where you're actually bending the pins. That's going to probably cause you problems later. Okay, and then the rest of the wiring instructions are here, so read through these and figure out where to connect them onto your Arduino. The next thing to do is take one of the speakers, take a new speaker, plug it in, and the instructions are here. Remember, it doesn't matter which leg is which on a speaker. They could go either way. And then when you're done with all that wiring, come here and actually record what pin you used on the Arduino in here. You'll be using different pins than I chose, and that's okay. You just need to make sure that the pins you used, like physically wiring them with, are the ones that you're using your program. If those match up, it doesn't matter which ones you use. All right, after you do all of that, you'll be ready for the programming part, which is slide 8. Have a good day, everybody. I hope you enjoy this project.